don't want to recognise that actually in 2024 that 16% of our population are malnourished. It's not something that we talk about readily. We don't screen people for malnutrition, so we don't even know 16% could be the tip of the iceberg. We need to be able to screen people, and our health and social care staff need to be able to be trained around looking at the risks and identifying the risks. There isn't a widespread training agenda out there for malnutrition for any sector across Scotland to recognise it, and that is definitely something that we should really be focusing on.
Yeah, so malnutrition is kind of both a cause and a consequence of ill health, if you like. So people who are malnourished are more at risk of becoming unwell, and it can exacerbate other health concerns. And like you say, you can be more at risk of falls and therefore more at risk of fractures, which can cause problems. But also if you are unwell, if you perhaps have a cancer diagnosis or indeed like a cognitive impairment like dementia, then that can put you at risk of becoming malnourished as well.
The work of food training is really crucial to the older people that we support right across Scotland. We see lots of older people who can't leave their homes, don't have proper access to food, and we don't see that factored into any of the health and social care needs. It's just assumed that people have access to food. There's lots of talk about food poverty, but not access to food, and making sure that we've got access to food to prevent malnutrition. Malnutrition rates across older people right across Scotland are sitting at a staggering 16%. This is 2024 and we shouldn't be sitting at that rate. And it's increasing because we are not acknowledging that there is actually access to food issues out there.
I look forward to them coming every week because I live alone and I've got to know Eddie, and that it becomes more like a family.
But the food chain is, for me, excellent because it makes me plan my meals, healthy meals, and make sure that I do some cooking.
Having your weekly shop delivered to the door is so stress-free and helpful when you're unable to shop for yourself.
It's fulfilling. It's good to be able to help people when they're not able to do shopping on their own, either to get out or for whatever reason. It's enjoyable. We're meeting lots of different people, and it's nice to have a wee chat with our customers as well. It makes them able to stay in their home for much longer. I think they're much happier there. They're obviously healthier there as well. They're in a familiar environment, and it just is good for them.
Got the pop-up cafe on a Wednesday now. It was a Thursday, we changed it to Wednesdays, so well, come the winter we're going to really focus on that. So we are and try and get as many people in as possible. You know, a lot of people just tend not to cook for themselves anymore. The most simple things like microwave meals, or you know, and for them to be able to get that, we actually serve the soup, quiches, salads and everything with their shopping that they get on a weekly basis. So a lot of people will put in what they're wanting soup-wise or roll, and will send that with their shopping. People take like 2 or 3 days worth. They'll phone up and say how beautiful the quiche was or whatever else, and they'll say to the drivers when they're out, you know, how much they appreciate the service.
Nobody likes to think that we have trouble accessing food or that someone could be at risk of malnutrition. It just doesn't necessarily gel with the picture that people have of the food landscape in Scotland. And as a result, people tend not to be looking out for malnutrition, even within themselves or if they're working with older people. So raising that awareness and getting people to look out for the signs and symptoms
when you start kind of talking to staff that are working with older people about the signs and symptoms, they are the first people to realise that actually they see quite a lot of people who are struggling to eat, but they've just never had the tools or the knowledge to do something about that. So raising that awareness can be really helpful to get the early intervention going.